Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew. The Chiefs move on to 7-0 after defeating the Raiders today.
Let's go.
And we're going to talk about it.
Let's
But first, Mike, this is powered by BetUS. Tell them about BetUS.
Right. BetUS. Head over to betus.com. Check out what they got going on. Right now, you can use the code YouTube150 and you get a 150% deposit bonus match on your first deposit. And then on your next two deposits, you get a 125% deposit match bonus. Those are up to $2,000, so take advantage of all the free plays off those deposit matches. The site's easy to use. Plenty of props on there. If you bet on D-Hop to get a touchdown, we apologize. It didn't come true today, but it was close. Go on to betus.com. Promo code YouTube150, Steve. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. Yeah, Steve, they were running that promo about D-Hop getting in the end zone in his first game, and it looks like you took the no at minus 190. You scored today because a lot of people are calling this out. We'll jump right into the game, but the first thing was a lot of people said D-Hop didn't get used a lot, man. What did you think?
Well, no, I don't think he did. For what I could tell, he had 2 receptions for like 30 yards or something. I don't know. It wasn't much. I noticed when he was in the game, Patrick Mahomes didn't even look at him most of the time. Like, Patrick's very focused in on Xavier Worthy or Travis Kelce. Like, you didn't really see him looking at D-Hop a whole lot. I mean, it's early. It's the first game. Just getting acclimated and everything. So, I mean, I didn't expect it to be a big game from D-Hop, but it's nice to have a weapon like that on the field nonetheless.
Yeah, I think he was used. I don't know what his snap count was. I think he was used pretty good. I think for me, though, he is a red zone target. And then when we seen us get in the red zone, he was in there on that last drive when we were in the red zone. Not the one with Xavier Worthy, but the other one. And they didn't even look to him. He was just there. Mahomes didn't even look his side of the field 2 plays in a row. He was a decoy. Thought that was a little odd. But, yeah, to your point, 2 receptions, 29 yards, and he had a long of 16. So he had 3 targets on the day. Not too bad, Steve, but I think the big story of the day was Travis Kelce showed back up, which is what he does versus the Raiders, right? He had 10 catches on 12 targets, 90 yards, and he finally got in the end zone. That's the first time he's been in the end zone now in weeks and weeks
games,
in the regular season.
I think is what they said, like,
right.
Which is outrageous. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Another win. It wasn't the greatest or anything like that, but it's another win. The Chiefs are 7-0. Got to be happy about that. Do us a favor, hit the like button, get this out to more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't be a slapnut. Go do that. Yeah, man. I mean, overall, let's be honest here. I mean, dare I say boring, but it's just one of those slow, I wouldn't necessarily say ugly, but it wasn't pretty games. I think there was a time or two where you're like, damn, are the Raiders actually going to make this close?
The Raiders felt like if they had an established quarterback, that game would have been close to being like right down to the wire, if not
yeah, man,
a loss. If that quarterback situation was handled better, huh?
Like, the game wasn't really close. Like, I didn't think that. I never really felt like the Chiefs would lose the game. But there was a time, I think around the time the interception happened, when the ball got batted or Mahomes' arm got hit.
What felt a little strange, though, was that the defense didn't feel as dominating as it should have. There were series where the defense felt really dominating, like when we turned the ball over on that Mahomes pick that got tipped up in the air, and then we ended up stopping them 4 downs. They didn't even get in the end zone. They didn't take the 3 points.
Yeah.
That one felt dominant. We had a few series that felt dominant, but our zone coverage today looked like complete trash, dude.
Yes, no. I mean, I still think the defense was pretty much the highlight. I mean, our offense continues not to impress.
The offense looked good early, but I felt like they kind of fell out of rhythm a little bit. Like, we wasn't opening as many holes in the run game.
Are they ever in rhythm? That's the thing.
Wasn't it kind of odd, though, that we wasn't opening as many holes versus the Raiders? The Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league at stopping the run, and they handled the run pretty well today. Let me see what the
Kareem
stats
Hunt went
were
for
on
59 yards. That's what he did. He did have a touchdown, though.
21 for 59, and then Carson still had 2 carries for 6 yards. So both backs averaged 3 yards or less. The longest run of the day was Mahomes. The longest run of the day from a running back was 7 yards. So I felt like our offensive line got handled in the run game today, which is kind of odd.
Like I said, once again, just a pretty blah game. But I mean, nonetheless, we got the win. The Chiefs are continuing to do what they have to do to get the dub. They're 7-0, best record in the NFL, top the AFC by a few games now. Should be atop the West by a couple games. I think Denver's hanging around there a little bit, so we'll see how that goes here in just 2 weeks. We'll be playing the Donkeys, so we'll get to see how that goes. Next week's the Buccaneers, man, so After this Raiders week, we
Bucks.
go to Tampa Bay. No.
No, on Monday night they come to Arrowhead.
Yeah.
We were going to go to this game, and then something come up, and I couldn't go. So that kind of sucks. But look, they get a little bit of a longer week. I think they get D-Hop well more involved this week. He learns it a little bit more. He gets more involved. We'll see more D-Hop. The Bucks are going to be a tough game, though. The Bucks can flat out score. I think they'll test our defense. We're going to see, if the defense can hold up. Dude, if Gardner Minshew was putting up some numbers on you and finding, they were just making some catches out there. Minshew ended up throwing for 209 yards. That's only 50 yards behind what Mahomes threw for. He had 2 touchdowns, no picks. Mahomes had 2 touchdowns and a pick because that one got popped up. Gardner Minshew, on our defense, had a QB rating of a 118. Like, Gardner Minshew played his ass off today. He only threw 6 incomplete passes. Yeah. So, our defense was very, very sharp and soft versus the pass today.
I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things where everyone has their best game against the Chiefs.
I definitely think that, too.
It never fails. It's always
the Raiders are always going to play tougher against us than anybody. It's a rivalry game. You know what's going to happen, which is funny because Steve, Mr. 42-3 over here, what are you doing? You knew better.
I thought maybe the Chiefs would be big boys today. I don't know. I didn't know. I thought,
I thought I was going to hit my score at one point. We had them at 13 the entire game. We let them score that garbage touchdown there at the end. Daggone it.
Man, I mean, like I said, I'm ecstatic. They're 7-0. They're finding ways to win games. Things will continue to get better. And like I've said a million times this season, it's nice to have these kind of grinded out sort of games early in the season. Against good competition, against division rivals and stuff like that, because that's going to be invaluable come into the season. But eventually I feel like they have to get to a point to where they look cohesive, where they look consistent, where it doesn't look disheveled. And so far I've yet to see, I didn't see that today either. It was just another one of those games, man. But I'm with you. I think maybe getting D-Hop more involved in the offense over the next week or two. Kelce, obviously back at him. I think things will get better. Mahomes is starting to look better as well. Had the fluky interception, but that seems to be his MO these days. Like, something happens and he gets an interception.
How many times, though, out of all Mahomes' interceptions, what's he got, like 8 picks? How many are actually his fault?
Like half.
2?
Half. I would almost say 50% has been some kind of a batted ball.
I don't even think there's that many, huh?
A dropped pass. It's something.
I think more are fluke plays than Mahomes just making a bad read. Like, the only one I can remember being a super bad read was when he was trying to throw to Kelce in the middle of the field and got it picked off there versus...
He's thrown it straight to a couple linebackers. He tends to forget they exist sometimes,
Yeah, but a lot of his plays, though, are just like popped up in the air. Somebody gets their hand on a ball. Something weird every time. So I don't really blame Mahomes for that too much. Whoa, what happened? You scared me to death. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Scary. Pops with the purge here. He's giving out 5 memberships. Appreciate you, old man. Thank Pops if you get one of those memberships in the chat, please. Doing it right. Once again, there's not a whole lot to unwrap from this game. Is the weird thing about it. Like, I feel like they didn't play bad. They didn't play great. They could have played better, obviously. Does it suck they only beat the 2-6 Raiders by 7 points? Yeah.
Right, but it should have been 14. It was a blowout at one point, and then we let them score there at the end in kind of garbage time.
Yeah.
So it should have been 27-13. That's probably the legit score.
Obviously, the highlights of the game, I think, was Travis Kelce playing well, Xavier Worthy playing pretty well. Of course, D-Hop getting in the mix. 2 catches. One thing you did notice is Mahomes can just throw the ball to D-Hop; he'll catch it. Okay, just throw it to him.
Except for the one he overthrew him on.
You have to be on. At least put it somewhere in his area code.
Yeah, I can't believe he overthrew D-Hop on that play, man. He was so wide open.
But I mean, I'll tell you, there is one concern that I have about this team, and it's been one since the beginning of the season.
You're going to say left tackle, right?
Absolutely. Wanya got worked.
At this point, this is what I keep just asking people. At this point, if you're going to draft Kingsley in round 2, and he's supposed to be your guy for the future, and he didn't look no worse against Trey Hendrickson than he looked today. Wanya looked versus Max Crosby and Tyree Smith.
Absolutely not. That's the weird thing. If that was Kingsley, he would have got pulled from the game. Wanya,
and by the way, Wanya was getting some chip help throughout the game today and was still struggling. So it doesn't make sense. If you're going to draft Kingsley and you're going to say he's the left tackle of the future, put him in, let him take his lumps, and who cares? Because it's not that much of an upgrade with Wanye. It really isn't. Like, yes, Wanye will have flashes, but at the end of the day, you've seen days like today where he just gets completely worked. And so just let your young guy learn. Let him get all these under his belt, and you're going to struggle regardless. Let's see if we have to invest any more into it or if he's going to be able to do the role. Who wants to get to the end of the rookie season and then be like, well, we don't know if he's going to be able to do it or not because we didn't even play him?
Right. Yeah, it's weird to me.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
let's not do it. We all know when we drafted Wanye, he wasn't going to be the left tackle of the future. He was not looked at as a left tackle.
No. Roulette King with a 2 bomb says, does D-Hop look happy on the sideline?
I tell you, though, I seen him at the end of the game, and he kind of didn't look impressed, huh?
Why would he? I mean,
I think D-Hop maybe feels that he could have contributed more, and Andy kind of just kept the leash on him today. And
well, I
don't think he's going to cause any trouble or nothing.
No, I don't. But I did tell Pops today, I was like, if they continue to use D-Hop in the same manner they always use these guys to where they can't really perform, because you know how they do guys his size and his play style. They just tend to not even look their way. But if they continue to do that to D-Hop, like this is the first week, so I don't think he's thinking too much about it either. But I think D-Hop is an established wide receiver that's been in this league for a long time. And like I've said a million times, he's one of the best to ever play. I think he would be the one that'd be like, hey, did you forget I'm over here? Like, look my way.
He may do that.
He might do that.
But so I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to ruffle any feathers, especially in week 1.
No. That's what I'm saying. Not now. But like you were saying, you said there was at least twice in one red zone drive where
there was. He was a decoy, and Mahomes never even looked at that side of the field.
Didn't even look his way. So it's like, that's the thing. What I'm saying is if this continues, because this has been a trend with these types of receivers. Like we've talked about.
They chose to take a shot to Jody Fortson.
Which is wild.
D-Hop, which is wild, dude.
Yeah,
and by the way, Jody Fortson's injured. They're going to do evaluations on his knee tomorrow. He's probably going to be out for the season.
The sky's blue.
Yeah, I think we all knew when Jody Fortson was signed back, he was going to be injured within 3 weeks. Like, he actually got through more than I thought he was going to.
All I'm saying is, they'll get it together and all. But, I mean, if that were to be a thing later on, I do think that D-Hop might be that guy that's like, hey, Pat, open your eyes, bub. Like, I'm right here. Throw me the ball. Give me my shot. So, I mean, and that could be a good thing. I don't think it's ruffling feathers. I mean, you saw last year in the Super Bowl, Rashee Rice was giving Patrick Mahomes hell. Sometimes you just got to do that. And I think that, Patrick's not going to take that the wrong way either. So, I mean, it could get to that, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But, yeah, I don't think it's nothing big going forward. But, yeah, Fortson is hurt. Again, not surprising. They talked about it. Andy said they're going to evaluate him tomorrow. It's probably going to be a bad knee injury. It didn't look very good. It was a non-contact injury. I'm almost positive. So, just it's not there. But when we got to the red zone that time, we faked a handoff to Mecole Hardman, and we tried a little inside pitch to Kelce. How many times are we going to run that play in the red zone? It does not fool anybody. We tried that one so many times, that little inside pitch to Kelce.
They tried that play 8 times today.
Yeah, they tried it today just over and over. It's so weird. It's the same stuff over and over. But, yeah, they didn't go to D-Hop. They ended up trying to force one into Fortson. Mahomes just literally chucked it in the 9th row. It's kind of odd. I thought they would have at least got him in that one-on-one situation, threw the ball up. Isn't that why you go get a D-Hop? You just throw it up and see if he can make a play.
But didn't even look at him. That's the weird thing. He was throwing.
No, it was 100% designed to go somewhere else. It wasn't. He's a complete decoy.
One-on-one, and he's throwing.
Which is exactly what they did with Justin Ross when he played. He was a complete
balls
decoy
to Xavier Worthy or Jody Fortson or whoever.
He was a complete decoy.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they get it together, man. But I'm not worried about that whatsoever.
Steve, a lot of people on Josh Williams, man, they think he sucked today. I thought he had a couple bonehead penalties, but let's be honest, that one out of bounds where he was trying to mess with the ball and rip it, the dude flopped. That was a complete flop on that play.
Yeah, well, either way.
So I don't really care about that. The other one I'd never seen. Opposite side of the field, and they say like hands to the face or something weird. The whole play was over. That was an odd one, too. The Chiefs went through a time there in the third quarter, Steve. I want to say they give us 6 penalties, and I think they threw like 10 penalties in 10 minutes.
Well, I mean,
every single play was a penalty.
Another reason why the game was pretty much boring. It was like nonstop penalties.
Dude, it was anybody that thinks we get calls, good night. And then they had the audacity to cry that they called roughing the passer on Mahomes when he got hit 6 minutes after he releases the pass.
Yeah, I forgot the dude's name, but he tried to play it off as it was incidental contact.
Chason.
Yeah, it was Clavon Chason, yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That should have 100% got called. That would have got called with any quarterback. You can't tell me it was just Mahomes. But yeah, I thought some of the officials were definitely trying to keep that game close today, especially in the third quarter when it started getting a little bit to where our defense started looking comfortable and they needed them to score a little bit. Man, it was just getting a little out of control. They were getting a little bit too nitpicky there.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously the Raiders' offense didn't do a whole lot either. As far as rushing the ball, this team still continues to shut down everyone that tries to run the ball. I mean, absolutely. Madison had 14 carries for 15 yards, bro.
Dude, their running backs only totaled like 15 or 16 yards today total.
No, it's 15 for Madison, 7 for Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker's a wide receiver.
I know. This is all rushes. Minshew rushed for 6, DJ Turner for 4, Amir Abdullah for 2 yards, and -1
for Zamir White. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Actual running backs only got about 15, 16 yards today. I thought our defense done really good against the run.
Of course, I said they were going to try to use Brock Bowers against us. He had 5 receptions for 58 yards. Jacoby Myers seemed to be the most efficient, 6 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. And DJ Turner had 4 receptions for 28 yards and a touchdown.
How wild is it that Jacoby Myers was on the injury report all week? And then he comes
limited.
out and he plays his butt off as usual.
We knew he was going to play, but yeah, he was supposedly limited all week. So they don't have a whole lot going on.
Brock Bowers had a solid game. He had 5 targets, 5 receptions for 58. So, I mean, that's about what I expected from Bowers. Again, if Bowers was enough to beat you today, then so be it. And to be honest, the only one that scored was who? DJ Turner? No, Jacoby Myers got in the end zone, didn't he? So that was their 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, K. Wayne says Wanye was getting schooled. It happens. It does happen. But I think you have to be consistent if you're the coaching staff. If you're going to get mad at a rookie for getting worked by Trey Hendricks, who's just as good as...
In which you did not put any help for him all day long. You just let him on an island to get toasted.
If you're going to pull him from the game, then maybe you should consider pulling the guy that's in his second season getting worked by Max Crosby. Just
it wasn't even Max Crosby for the majority of the time. Max Crosby was going against Jawan Taylor 90% of the time.
Right. Wanye was getting that ass whooped, though. He was. But, like, you know, K. Wayne said it happened.
He was getting beat up by Tyree Wilson. And, look, Tyree Wilson has not been a good player in this league. Let's be completely honest. He's not been that great.
I'm kind of with you, man. Like, to me, I think that Wanye's had his chance for, like, several weeks.
Tyree Wilson on the season before today had no sacks and 3 total tackles. But he worked Wanye today. He looked like he was an all-pro out there.
Yeah, let's give away some game balls. How about that? I think I'll go first. Offensively, Travis Kelce. I mean, 90 yards receiving, touchdown. I think he was the biggest factor there. And then on defense, it could be I'll go Drew Tranquil. I think he was making some really good plays today.
Drew Tranquil was solid. But, look, he started off kind of not in good position a few times. I thought Felix looked decent today, but still nothing great.
Justin Reid had some good plays. He had some good hits.
I thought Chris Roland Wallace was in position a few times to make plays, but he just couldn't make them. Like, I just felt like he was just allowing stuff. You know, he was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess defensively, I would give game ball. Let's go defensive game ball. I'm going to give it to George today.
George had a sack.
He had a sack. He had a tackle for a loss. He had a pass deflection on 3rd down, a big one there, or it might have been on 4th. And he also had 2 QB hits. I'm going to give it to you know, George Karlaftis. I think he
today, Junior.
Today, I'm giving it to George of the Jungle, baby. Let's go. I'll give it to George Karlaftis, and I'm with you. I'll go ahead and give it to Travis. I thought he done pretty good. You could maybe give it to Xavier Worthy. I thought looked okay, but Xavier Worthy dropped a few. He only had 4 catches on 8 targets. If they're going to give him 8 targets, they've got to get him a little more comfortable. Like, he just doesn't look as comfortable. Or Mahomes, they look a little off a little bit. I don't know. I think he's fine with the targets. I know there's going to be a lot of talking heads in Chiefs Kingdom being like, I don't think he should have got that many targets. He's not ready for it. I think he's completely ready for it, but I think you've got to get that together. Like, Mahomes still doesn't look great. He doesn't look comfortable. And, I mean, who could blame him? When you got a left tackle playing like that, who could blame him?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get comfortable now.
Exactly. But Mahomes still isn't playing his top-tier ball, and we're still 7-0. This is the first time in Mahomes' career he's been 7-0. So with him having statistically his worst year, He has no left tackle to speak of, and the Cat's 7-0. I think we'll take that. And we're by far ahead in the division. I don't even know how many games in the division we're ahead. 2 or 3 by now, right?
Yeah. Marie says, how can you be surprised that they look a bit disheveled in the offense? A lot is not ideal with many injuries and blah, 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 blah. Left tackle thing. Man, that's the thing. Like, we can make all excuses we want, but they've looked pretty disheveled except for the playoffs for the last 2 years. So, I mean, the offense has been very, very, you can't even say streaky.
Steve, I honestly just feel like the offense is, I feel like Andy has literally adapted the offense to, like they said they were going to come out and be a high-flying team, and I get it. They've had some injuries to deal with. Rashee Rice, that's a big one to lose, but Hollywood from the beginning. But I feel like they've just totally adapted to just a ball control offense. They don't really take a lot of shots down the field. Again, every year, I try to tell people this, Mahomes ranks at the bottom, at the very bottom of the league. He's always the top 3 at the bottom. So between 27 and 30th in the league, or 28th, 29th to 32nd, he's always one of the lowest in air yards, which means he don't throw the ball deep down the field. He don't throw it in the tight windows. He doesn't force it. He's always played like that. And again, this year, his completion percentage is up, but he's by far the most conservative quarterback in football this year if you look at next-gen stats. He doesn't press the ball into tight spaces. He doesn't throw it that far in the air.
Right.
So, I mean, again, we're playing. We've very much relied on this defense, and he's doing it. He's starting to rely on the run game. It looks like Alex Smith. We run a dink and dunk style. I mean, that's what we look like.
Right.
But
Well,
they're embracing it and they're winning. Like, it's either, what do you do? Have we got so used to winning that now if we don't do it in style, it's just boring?
I think so.
But you can't be like that.
No, you can't. You can't. I'm not saying that you should.
No,
be.
it's either you win and you win, a win's a win.
I'm not saying that you should.
Right,
be.
but I feel like a lot of Chiefs Kingdom has got that. Like, the Chiefs have been such a high-powered, beautiful offense to watch, and now we just look like a very much conservative, clock control, don't really take a lot of chances, and we'll nitpick you to death and we'll bore you to sleep, but we'll get that dub.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
We'll get it. So,
Mike,
I mean, you pick your poison here.
What about Josh Williams? Obviously, we thought maybe he had the intangibles to come in and be the next kind of corner, L'Jarius Sneed-esque corner. Maybe take that CB2 spot this season, and he failed miserably. Is he turning into the Sky Moore of the defense, where he's squandering his opportunities? Joshua Williams.
No, because I don't think in coverage Josh Williams is that bad. He didn't give up a lot today. I'm almost positive. I have to go back and watch it. He had a few boneheaded penalties, but I don't think he got beat. I mean, Chris Rowland Wallace is the one that got beat on the touchdown at the end. I don't know if I'm not for sure. I have to go back and watch it. If you look at the receivers, I would think that for the majority of the day, Brock Bowers was the leading guy. Josh Williams was not guarding Brock Bowers today. That was a safety doing that.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, are you putting Josh Williams on the number 1 receiver? If that's the case, then what's McDuffie there for? So I don't think he was really on Jacoby Myers a lot. So he would have been on DJ Turner, Trey Tucker. I mean, they had 6 catches on 7 targets, but they only had a total of 45, 50 yards.
Right.
So, I mean, is it really that big of a deal at the end of the day?
Right. So, I mean, we'd had some discussion that they could make another move before the trade deadline. At this point, what do you think is necessary here? Would you rather see, since Najee Johnson can't stay healthy, Josh Williams isn't living up to people's standards?
Josh Williams also, you got to remember, this is also the first game of the year Josh Williams has got extended playing time.
Right. But I mean, do you think they look at corner?
So it's going to take them a little bit of time.
Do you think left tackles got to be something that they address?
Left tackle is far more important than a corner. Now, look, you can say if Najee Johnson, I don't know what he hurt today. He hurt something. I think he's got concussion. He'll probably be ready to go within a week, 2, something like that. I just don't see nothing out there you can go look at corner. Now, if you make a trade, maybe so.
Right.
But you're not going and picking up any of these turds on the free agency block. Like, they're just, any free agent is just not worth it. And again, Josh Williams, everybody's so quick to turn. Josh Williams, again, last year in just the playoffs, he was like a top 3 rated corner out of everybody in the playoffs.
Right.
So we're just a few games from that removed. And it's funny, when Travis Kelce stinks it up in the regular season, it's fine. He's awesome in the playoffs. But then Josh Williams is awesome in the playoffs, but he's also got to perform in the regular season. And he's got to do it on limited targets and limited snaps. It takes, I don't know, man. People put these guys on a string, and the puppet master, be awesome all the time. I just don't see it. If Josh Williams was every single. If Josh Williams had give up every single catch and every single play today to every wide receiver on the board, Josh Williams would have only given up less than 100 yards. Every receiver Vegas had got less than 100 yards total together. So how's that a bad day from anybody?
I don't know. He didn't have a pick six.
Explain it. If every Raiders wide receiver combined didn't even hit 100 yards, how did the corners have a bad day?
Right. Well, I don't think the defense had a really bad day. It's kind of depressing that they allowed 20 points from the crappy Raiders. But, I mean, honestly, they didn't have a whole lot of offense. So
everybody in the chat, you can't compare Kelce to Jason to Josh Williams. I'm just trying to make a point. Like, come on. I know, like, yeah, they don't even play the same position. Like, the point is Chiefs Kingdom likes to harp on certain people and likes to give certain people passes.
Yeah.
Nobody cried today when our receivers were dropping balls. Who dropped the balls today? Didn't Xavier Worthy drop a ball? Didn't Kelce drop another one?
Wide open, too.
Yeah, Sky Moore can do that, too.
That's funny.
You're
Mike,
comparing
how
him to
dare
Sky
you?
Moore? How dare you?
Hannah with
I'm
the
just
five
saying,
bomb.
people have selective arguments.
Hannah with the 5 bomb says, is it what's necessary or what's Veach and Reid want to trade for? I think Josh Williams needs more playing time, practice reps with the first team. I do think that, like Josh Williams, yeah, he might not look great right now, but I do think if he gets enough time in there, gets to get in a rhythm, I think he'll be fine. I do. He might not be.
I am very curious to see what his. I want to go back and watch the game and really see his matchups. Like, did he allow a lot of receptions? Did he give up a lot of yards? Like, what happened with Josh Williams today that everybody's just assuming he sucked? Or is it only because he got hit with those 2 penalties in a row?
I think that's what it was.
Because, again, the first one was a guy flopping out of bounds. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have messed with the football. I get it. Dumb mistake. The other one seemed like to me that was in the barrage of third quarter penalties that they were just looking for stuff to call.
That was bad.
So
who knows?
knows?
There where I was just like, God.
And that didn't even result in any score. Like, after they called it on Josh Williams, we shut him down 4 straight plays and no harm, no foul there, I believe.
Right. So what would Veach and Reid want to trade for? I think the obvious thing here is if you're going to make some sort of a move, you got to be thinking left tackle. I mean, otherwise, why?
Who is going to trade you a left tackle, though, for
nobody?
What Veach would want to give up?
Nobody. I mean, K. Wayne's still on the Bakhtiari train, but there's got to be something there.
There's got to be a reason Bakhtiari's not been picked up by anybody.
Something's going on with that. I don't know what
there are
is.
teams out there that are way worse than we are at left tackle somehow.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at Bakhtiari either. So there has to be something there with him.
Yeah, I don't understand what it could be. Do you think it's one of those things where he'd rather just not play if he's not getting paid a certain amount of money?
I don't know. I think it's just because he's 33, 34. He's got a lot of wear and tear. He's coming off huge injuries. The botched surgery he had the first time. Maybe they're like, hey, this dude is he's a ticking time bomb. Like, who wants to bring him in? And maybe it's just hard to learn, too. Like, Andy's going to bring in a guy that's going to come in and have to learn an entire offense. And again,
right.
Patrick plays so differently than some of these guys. Now, he did play with Aaron Rodgers. That's kind of similar to what Mahomes, but I actually think Rodgers stays in the pocket way more than Mahomes does.
Yeah. King Jamie says Kareem needs some help. He ran his butt off for us today. Well, I mean, I think we have some help there. It's just, do they want to use it or not? I think they gave Kareem Hunt 21 carries. Carson Steele, 2.
Yeah,
carries.
That was weird. I thought Carson Steele should have been able to get more carries than that.
We all saw what Carson Steele can do.
I think they could have capped Kareem at, 15 and give Carson Steele like 9 and we'd have been fine.
What's the thing? We know what kind of runner Carson Steele is. Yes, he has 2 fumbles. But if you go back and watch him, he wasn't careless with the ball. It was good defensive plays. I just don't see that happening a lot. So, I mean, I don't understand why he would only have 2 carries. And another thing is, kind of go straight into this, the red zone. They've got to stop just going down there and throwing 3 stupid passes and kicking a field goal. Like, you've got Kareem Hunt running all over everybody. You got Carson Steele, who's going to get you positive yardage. Run the damn ball when you're inside the 10-yard line.
But look,
what are we doing?
For the Raiders to not have Christian Wilkins, a big inside piece there, a big defensive tackle, to not have him and everything, I thought they played the run very well. We have got one of the best, if not the best, interior offensive lines in football. And I don't feel like we opened up a lot of holes in the middle of the run game. Like, they pretty much – look, Kareem had 21 carries and Carson had 2. So 23 carries for a total of 65 total yards. So, yeah, our defense only let up like 15 to 16, but they still let up less than about 60 yards. That's pretty good on them, too. If at the end of the day we'd have just let up 60 rushing yards, we'd have been like, man, our defense was dominating. But look how good our offensive line's supposed to be, and we wasn't opening up lines or holes there. Maybe Andy didn't feel comfortable about it.
Maybe. It still seems crazy to me, though. But Kyle says, did you know that with today's win, Andy Reid has the most wins of any coach at Allegiant Stadium?
Is that true? How many could he possibly have?
Dude, that is hilarious. How bad do they suck?
What do you get, one per year? How long has Allegiant been there?
A few years now, but you have to think their coach, Antonio Pierce, just started at the end of last season. They've only won 2 games this season, so Andy's definitely got more wins there.
Well, Andy, yeah.
It is Arrowhead
He
West.
would have won the Super Bowl, too, so that one and today ties
Yeah, dude.
this year.
That's pretty crazy.
That's funny, dude.
That's wild. Man, I saw. Hannah had a 2-bomb. That's what it was. She said, "Y'all not gonna like this, but Donovan's still available." Donovan Smith. Mike, like, here's the thing. At this point, do you think Donovan Smith is a step up from Wanya Morris, or do you think it's still kind of the same?
No, because look, he was already regressing. He was regressing. He looked really bad in the Super Bowl. I mean, he just did. He looked horrible. He has now went all this time. He's out of football shape. How feasibly quick could you get him in here and do anything? It's going to be week 10 or week 11 before he's even halfway ready to go, and he's still like 35 years old. I just don't see what the point would be.
Yeah, I think
my thing is, if Wanya's not head and shoulders above Kingsley, let Kingsley play. He's supposed to be your left tackle of the future. Let him learn it.
Well, one of them's going to end up being the right tackle too, because they're not going to keep Juwan Taylor around. I don't think.
Well, you got to keep him around for the rest of this year and next year.
I know, but I mean eventually. I'm thinking long term.
Yeah, 2026 he'll be gone. So in 2 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's 2 more drafts. That you should be feasibly looking for more tackles at some point. I don't know. I just feel like if Wanya is not head and shoulders above Kingsley, and Kingsley's supposed to be your left tackle of the future, why are you not getting him the experience? It's not that much difference.
Yeah, I agree. But, so regardless what's going on and how we can improve, I think we know the ways this team can improve or how they could. But the fact of the matter is we're sitting at 7-0, which is amazing. They've been great at finding ways to win games. And a lot of the other teams in the AFC, Mike, have really shat the bed. So, I mean, you got the Bengals and the Ravens losing again today. I think who's even contending with the Chiefs right now in the AFC? Is it Buffalo, maybe? I don't even know what their record is.
Yeah, it's probably Buffalo, Houston. It's got to be those teams, man.
Yeah, Houston's at 6-2, Buffalo's at 6-2, Steelers at 5-2. The Broncos are at 5-3. So, right. I mean, there is a contender in the AFC West, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, we're 2 games above Denver. We got to play them twice. So that makes our games our games versus Denver now are important, and they always tend to play us tough. Everybody does. Divisional games just play tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to see. Vegas is out of the playoff chase. I would say unless the Chargers get hot, they're probably out of it too. The Jags are out. The Titans are out. The Colts are feasibly in, but at 4-4, you're not going to get in a wild card at 500. You're just not. The Browns are out. I'd say the Bengals are out. Steelers and Ravens are both 5-2 and 5-3, and they just don't even look. I thought the Ravens were supposed to be so freaking impressive that they lose to the Browns, and not just the Browns, but the Browns with Jameis Winston.
Right.
Like, I mean, I know the Chiefs aren't coming out here and lighting the world on fire. They're not. They don't look great. Patrick Mahomes has not played that well. We've had a lot of injuries, this and that, and we don't look like world beaters. But at the same time, nobody looks like they're even in the same ballpark as we are.
No, they're not. And that's the thing, man. And I've been saying it all year. The team's not playing up to their potential.
Could you imagine how dominant we would be to this point if we had no injuries?
Or if they just executed.
Yeah, but look, if Hollywood's not injured, if Rashee Rice has not been injured, dude, we would be beating teams to death. Like, this wouldn't even be close. I mean, and it's hard. We're 7-0 now. If those guys don't get injured, we'd be 11-0 by now.
Yeah.
I don't even know that's possible, but we'd have already won 11 games.
The math, okay?
Yeah, you'd have already just ended the season at this point.
Our boy Doug says, how long do you think D-Hop will get more snaps and gets better connection with Mahomes' thoughts? So, I would say give it about 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll see where we're at. I think you should see some progression each week, though. Like this week, it was 2 receptions, 29 yards. Next week, we better at least see 4 or 5 receptions. I think we got to get him into the offense because you didn't go get him for nothing. And yeah, I did. Obviously, it made Kelce's life a little easier today, just having him on the field. So, I mean, that's definitely a factor. But I think you got to get him involved, man. That's why we went and got him.
Yeah, I agree. But I think he will. 3 targets today. That's about what we said. How many plays did he run? I bet you he played somewhere between 10, 20 snaps. That's about what we thought he was going to play. I thought he would have got somewhere around maybe 35 to 50 yards is what I projected. What did he end up having? I think he ended up having
29. He had 2 receptions for 29 yards.
So look, and if Mahomes wouldn't have overthrew him on that one, that was about 15, 16 more, so he'd been right at it. So, yeah, that was just a miss by Mahomes. But, yeah, other than that, I think he played about what he was going to do. The one thing weird for me was that they didn't look at him in the red zone. You would have thought you got DeAndre Hopkins to be a red zone target, and he was literally just a decoy. Like, they did not even look his way. Mahomes took the snap, looked dead left. Hopkins is on the right. He never even looked his way.
The guy's hands are 2 feet tall. Just throw the ball. He's going to catch it.
Right. 2 feet tall.
King Jamie says, what's the cost for Max Crosby when the Raiders have their annual fire sale? It's funny. I said something today, like when he was arguing with Kareem Hunt and stuff. I looked at Mike and Pops, and I was like, Max Crosby wants to be a Chief so bad he can't stand it. Like, he really does, secretly.
Yeah, but so, I don't know.
Not going to happen.
Max Crosby just signed a huge contract. So who knows?
Not going to happen. But, yeah, he wishes. Sam Lofton with the 2 bombs. His defense looks suspect without Jalen Watson. That seems to be a narrative throughout the chat. I keep seeing a lot of people say the secondary sucked. The secondary got burned today. Stuff like that. But like Mike said, what did they have?
Every Raiders receiver. Look, Raiders receiving. Brock Bowers is not on a corner. That's going to be a safety or a linebacker. He was the leading receiver, 5 for 58. Jacoby Myers had 6 catches for 50. DJ Turner had 4 for 28, so that's 70 yards. Trey Tucker had 2 for 26. That's 96 yards. And then John Samuel Schenker had 7. So
okay, obviously they played pretty bad if they let John Samuel Schenker get a
But
reception.
The point is, all the receivers together had less.
They had 190. They had 195 passing yards today.
Right, and the receivers only attributed to about 105 of that. And that's only 10, 11, 12, 13 receptions. We only allowed 13 receptions all day to receivers for about 110 yards.
Right. Yeah.
And again, one of those, we know for a fact, one of those was Trey Tucker in the end zone, and that was Chris Rowland Wallace.
Right.
That was a safety that done that. That wasn't a normal corner. That wasn't Josh Williams. That wasn't Trent McDuffie. That was a guy that's a backup. So, like I said, I want to go. Everybody sees something, but you don't really see it until you get to watch it from the sky. So I'm ready to watch the All-22. I want to see just how bad our corners are because it's a huge narrative that our corners were just flat out disgusting today. But from what I could tell, I thought that the majority of the day we were getting eat up with the tight end like we thought we were going to.
Right. Well, I think probably one of the biggest factors of the day, it had to be our defense, and the turnover battle was a wash. I think we had an interception. We forced a fumble, right? So I think that was a wash. But the one thing that stood out to me was, Mike, we said they'd have 4 sacks. They had 5. So they were getting pressure on Minshew, and they were actually getting home on him. Turk Wharton had a sack. George Karlaftis, Mike Pinnell, Drew Tranquil, and Leo all had sacks. Chris Jones, rather quiet. He made some pretty good plays there, a couple.
He was eating double teams.
He was.
All day.
It's just what's going to happen. But, I mean, overall, I think the defense still, to me, was the highlight of the day, I would say. I really
good.
Like, they let up way too many points to a crappy Raiders team. But
they look good, but, yeah. At first, the Raiders were just open. Like, in the first few drives, they were just making it look easy. It was kind of odd. It almost just felt like were just calling, like, the
We got to stop spotting team 7 points. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I tweeted that in the game. Today's first quarter touchdown was the 7th first quarter touchdown we've allowed this season. So we're averaging 1 first quarter touchdown every game.
Yeah, it's crazy, which is weird considering how good the defense has been.
But it's usually that's usually all the offense gets, and then we tighten it up, and that's kind of what happened today. We let them have that garbage score at the end, but
Yeah, that garbage time touchdown was dumb. P. Water with the 5-bomb, excuse me, says just watch Pat's post-game interview. He looks tired. Imagine the extended season, fame, kids schedule, and 42 injuries. We're undefeated. Let's freaking go. Yeah, man, Pat's got to quit. He's got to quit making babies. I think that's part of it. That's why I look tired all the time. Just too many kids.
This Pat, they're having another one, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting ready to have 3.
Yeah.
Boy, you think Pat looks tired this year?
Pat's tired.
Look, they got to get rid of their Texas values and just bite the bullet and go get a nanny for these kids. Don't try to raise these kids yourself, okay? Let's not do it. Go get a nanny and get some rest, baby.
Yeah, do it, Pat. Yeah, you're going for a 3-peat, baby. Appreciate the 5P water. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. It's hard to put lipstick on a pig and make today's game look super exciting and everything else. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is 7-0, I mean, as boring as some of these games have been, as grinded out as some of these games have been, nothing special going on. You still have to be happy that the Chiefs are finding ways to win. Perfect so far, 7-0, sitting firmly atop the AFC, in good position to get the 1 seed, in good position to win the West. So, I mean, I think we got to be happy about it. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like button for us if you haven't yet. It just takes a second. It helps us out tremendously. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that as well. We got freaking Jay Moss in here with a 20-bomb, baby. Let's go. Says, thanks for the T-shirt. I think the Chiefs are getting better on offense every week.
Yeah, baby. Jay Moss was throwing around a lot of memberships.
Gifted membership.
I hooked him up. I threw him out a T-shirt, baby. I thought he deserved it. I give him a little Andy Reid T-shirt. It's beauty.
Nice. What Andy Reid shirt was it?
It was Andy Reid with the frozen mustache.
Nice. I like it.
The playoff game versus the Dolphins. So yeah, man. Appreciate you, J Moss, for real. Glad you got that in and everything. Yeah, man. I'm with you, Steve. It's tough to make it seem exciting, but what is exciting is that we're 7-0.
Right.
And again,
that's it.
We've battled everything that the universe has threw at us, and Mahomes does look tired, and he's not playing his best ball, and he'll admit that.
Right,
but we're still winning.
That's the thing, man. When we are playing our best ball, when we hit our stride, watch out NFL, because we're not playing that great, and we're 7-0. And that's another thing. Would you rather all these games be super exciting with big, huge stats, Mahomes throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns a game and us losing a few? Or would you rather it be boring and 7-0?
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
we were exciting during the Dick Vermeil era, if you remember. Right. Our offense was great, but our defense couldn't stop nobody. And we lost tons of games.
Now, I'm going to agree with Jay Moss here, too. They are getting better each week. Because at the beginning of the season, they just looked atrocious.
I actually thought they looked good early in the game moving the ball. First drive, they just methodically moved it down the field. But it's almost like they get in this weird funk in the middle of the game. Whereas you would think Andy and everybody would be masters of working with adjustments and stuff, but we tend to not adjust too well. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, it always seems that way. It's always seemed that way.
We're just kind of stubborn. We're just going to do what we're going to do, and you either stop it or you don't. And he doesn't really make a lot of. It don't seem like he makes a lot of mid-game adjustments, which is kind of weird. You'd think he'd be great at it.
I think he does, but he doesn't overdo it.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? He kind of stays steady, and that's just Andy in a nutshell, though, right? Once again, appreciate the 20 J Moss. Everybody else that's donated tonight, appreciate you guys. Y'all put some legendaries in the chat for those folks, helping the channel grow, stay afloat. That goes a long way. Can't thank you enough for that. But yeah, man, I think Andy's just very steady. And
Steady Freddy.
He don't care. He don't care if they win by 1 point or 27 points.
No, win's a win for Andy. He's eating that cheeseburger either way.
Right now, he's got the. You think he's got his pinky up in the
no
air?
different tonight. He's still going to put the pinky up while he's eating it. Whether we won by 1 or we won by 50, he didn't care.
He's looking classy with his pinky up.
It's going to taste the same, told Andy. Andrew Reid. Andrew Reid the fourth. That's what he's going to do.
Maccaberry says, I don't like to hear it. Steve don't like to hear it. But Andy doesn't open that playbook during the season.
I mean, you know what? After I watched him run that same stupid play to Kelce about 7 times,
Maybe
today,
you're
I
right,
kinda feel like
McAberry.
they're only rotating 4 plays over and over again. So who knows?
Could be it.
You know why Andy's pumped, Steve? Is because I think his BYU Cougars are like 8-0 now. They haven't lost a game. You know, and you think that would help them. You think that would help Kingsley get on the field. Andy should have a soft spot for that BYU Coug, but he's not. He's like, look, Coug, go sit on the bench.
Yeah, it's weird, ain't it?
Maybe he's harder on his own. You're harder on your own kids, right? He sees them as his own. He's like, you little twerp, get over
Richie
there.
says Andy doesn't have that killer mentality. He doesn't. I think if we could get Andy to have a little bit of killer mentality.
Fumble-a-rooski doo. That's Andy, okay? Hey, speaking of, that was a big play there by Drew Tranquil. I don't know who hit him on that play. Who hit Minshew on that play and fumbled that ball? Was that Turk? Somebody got to him and caused him to fumble that. That was a big turning point play right there because I think the Chiefs scored after that. I think that's when Worthy got that touchdown.
Leo, maybe?
Somebody, but we had 5 sacks today. That's pretty good. Our defense looked okay. I just feel like our defense was literally a little soft. I feel like we went to like a prevent looking thing late and give up a lot. And then I feel like early in the game, there was one play, and this always happens with Spags. There was a certain play where Felix Anudike-Uzomah lines up, coming off the edge, and then he drops back in the coverage, and Minshew watches it and just completes a pass right over the top of him. It's like, yeah, well, of course, Felix isn't going to be able to match
Minshew looking
up.
like a quarterback? Like, what happened? Why do we make everyone look like a decent quarterback? Hannah with a 2 bomb says Andy adjusts when they're behind and under pressure. I think he does do that somewhat, but like I said, I think it's very subtle.
He's like a piece of coal. You know, when he gets under pressure and he just turns into a diamond. You like it? That's been my TED Talk for the day. Thanks for joining.
I don't know about it.
Have some
I think he
fun.
does. Like I said, I think he makes adjustments. I just think they're very subtle. I don't think he gets extreme with anything. He's just cool, man. He's cold-blooded. 31 red ball with the 5 bombs is another W over the Faders. 7-0, baby. Let's go. Mike, let's try to be excited.
31
about
red balls
7-0.
pumped.
I know.
Get
Hell yeah.
fired up, baby.
Hell yeah, 31 red
Look,
ball.
it's almost Halloween. We beat the Raiders at our second home field. Patrick is the fastest QB in history to get to 30K. Okay? Yeah. Mahomes beats Tony G's all-time record of receptions versus the Raiders.
And the Raiders still have to suck. And I got something for them.
Suck it! Suck it! We got 2 words for you! Suck it!
Suck it, Raiders.
Dude, the officials had 6 penalties in the third quarter alone, and they still couldn't beat us.
Dude, that was when it got hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I think you saw me get up off the couch and walk around because I was so bored at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. You got up, you started doing like the Macarena. You were eating leftovers.
I was eating food that I didn't even want because I was so bored. It's like I'm just gonna go eat. So I wasn't even stressed.
You were bored eating.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat this.
What'd you have?
I ate chili.
What did you eat when you were bored? Did you have a little bit of like a piece of cornbread or something?
I did. I also had one of those little pumpkin little Debbie cakes, like a fat kid.
Yeah, you even threw one to me.
I did. I'm like, here, you eat too.
I'm not
so
even allowed to eat anymore.
Something.
I've got to go on a 48-hour fast like right now. And the last taste in my mouth is it's a win versus the Raiders, though. I tell you that. Be positive, baby.
Let's go. But no, those flags that drive was just hideous.
Yeah.
Like
they were just walking them down the field.
That is the worst. That is football at its worst, is when you can't get through a play without a flag.
There tends to be, for all the people that think the Chiefs get all the calls, if you go back in history, there tends to be always one point in every game that they will literally walk an offense down the field and put points on the board versus us.
They
in almost every game we've played.
Every time you can bank on it. Might keep looking up with the 5 bombs. Says at work, so just stopping by. But 7-0, baby. Let's freaking go. She's pumped too. Look, man, be pumped. Got to be pumped. 7-0. Let's go, baby. Well, let's see. What do we got coming up? We got the Buccaneers.
We got the Bucs on Monday Night Football next
at home.
week.
Appreciate the 5, by the way. Also some
that.
legendaries in the chat for her. That's freaking awesome. We got the Buccaneers coming up at Arrowhead, and then the Donkeys at Arrowhead. Okay. And that's 6 days apart.
Games.
So Monday night game, Sunday game.
Yeah, those are big games.
Huge games. And then right after that, it goes into we're at Buffalo. We're in Orchard Park.
That's a big one. So we got 3 tough ones here.
Good little stretch. Then we get to play the Panthers, which
I
would say Should be an easy game.
That's a little
but,
bit of a break.
What are we talking
Are we
about
going to be
here?
playing the Panthers? When we play the Panthers, is Deontay Johnson going to be on our team or theirs?
Probably still theirs.
Man, it'd be nice if he was in the red, though, huh?
And then after the Panthers, we play the Faders again.
But that was
So-
at Arrowhead, so
Right.
that should be even more of a big win.
Guys,
but wait,
isn't
didn't
it-
they beat us
isn't
at
it
Arrowhead
real-
last year?
Isn't it real weird that we're halfway through the season?
It is and it's not. Like today, I was like, my God, we're halfway through the season, but then I was like, dude, there's still half a season left. I kind of hit the wall of like, man, football never
Like,
ends for us, though.
I feel like the offseason was like such an ordeal this year.
It was.
And then, like, when we
because-
got to the season, it just kind of
yeah.
like,
Well, I mean, Steve, we create content. We're in this 365. So
Yeah.
it's crazy that half a season, but like we still got half a season. Then we got the playoffs. And then as soon as that's done, guess what? Free agency. Then we're right back to the draft. It's like, oh my God, it never ends. It never ends.
yeah.
At least the players get weeks off. We don't. We got to make up something. We got to make up something to keep
Hey,
everybody
you better
entertained.
you better make up a story out of nothing.
Yeah. Mahomes farted today. Tell him how that's going to result in a 4,000-yard passing season.
Are we going to get D-Hop or are we not?
Oh, we did after
We
2 years
did.
of saying it.
We did.
Heard it here first.
About time since season's too damn short. They keep adding games to it. It's still too short.
Quit. We're gonna have 27
they're
game
gonna go.
seasons,
They're
bro.
gonna go to 18 games and 2 bye weeks. I'd almost bet it.
I would not hate that.
They're gonna go to 2 preseason games.
I like having the extra bye week.
18 regular season games with 2 bye weeks. I think that's what they're gonna get.
But here's what they should do for the Chiefs: they'll put our bye week at week 4 and week 7.
oh yeah.
But don't do that. I think everybody should get a bye week before October and a bye week after October. I think that should be the way they set that up. That way everybody gets an early bye and a late bye.
Right.
I don't
Mike,
know, man.
One of the popular things I've seen in the chat all night long is Marshawn Lattimore, which this was going on last night too. Do you think that's even on the Chiefs' radar?
I don't know. I think they've done something with his contract that does make it like feasible. But I mean, he did sign like a $90-some million contract. So yes, you could maybe get him for the rest of the season, but you would have to work something out long term. Again, Brett Veach has drafted corners religiously over the past few years. They didn't even go to Keith Taylor today. So obviously they didn't think Josh Williams was as bad as the fans watching, or they would have like yanked him and put in Keith Taylor. I don't know. I don't know what people expect. I think people's just really wanting to replace Snead with somebody. Like people got so used to Snead and McDuffie, and that was just kind of a fluke. Most teams don't get to have 2 shutdown corners like that.
Right.
And you see, we couldn't even sustain it because once they both got to get paid, one of them had to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just tough to do. So yeah, you might be able to bring in a guy borrowed or something, but I just don't think they'll give up. I don't think they're looking to get rid of any more draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Veach loves draft capital, and they've already let go of 2. They almost let go of another one for the Eric Scott deal. They almost had to let something go for Peyton Hendershot. I think both of those we actually got our picks back, but Brett Veach has been kind of lenient with it, but I don't think he wants to get rid of any more of it.
Yeah, I don't either. The schedule's getting ready to get a little interesting, though. They're going to start playing on odd days, right?
Yeah, they'll play Monday, and then they play Sunday.
Right, but when you get down to, I think, like the next Raiders game, that's actually going to
That's
be a
Black
Black Friday.
Friday.
game.
That's Black Friday, yeah.
Right, and then they're playing a Christmas Day game at Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
which is going to be on a Wednesday.
It's going to be Netflix Wednesday, yeah.
And then they have a Saturday game somewhere in here. We haven't played one yet, have we?
What is it?
There's a Saturday game somewhere on the schedule.
No, we haven't played a Saturday game yet, but you probably do at the end of the year. Is that the Texans game?
Let's see, 21st. No, that's a Thursday night game.
Remember, there's 3 and 10 days right there.
No, wait. That was... No, the 21st is a Saturday game. You're right. It's a Texans game. So, yeah. But what's crazy is they have to play on Saturday the 21st, and then literally 3 days
25th.
later, they play on Wednesday.
Didn't the Seahawks just do this, though? I'm pretty sure the Seahawks just played 3 games in 10 days. Nobody even mentioned it.
We did it twice last season.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's just where you get to a point to where you just got to feel comfortable in your offense. You feel comfortable in, like, your run game. You just rely on it. And if you lose some of those, you lose them. I don't think the team cares that much. Like, I don't think the team's going for an undefeated season. I think they pretty much know that's not happening. But I think it's all about getting to the playoffs.
It's still on the table.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
It's still on the table.
Imagine just all this adversity and the Chiefs somehow not only three-peat, but they pulled out an undefeated season to three-peat, that would be the most epic thing of all time.
You just retire.
That'd be the biggest accomplishment in all of sports history, wouldn't it?
Everybody quit after that.
NFL implodes, and they end the NFL. It's over.
Everyone's
we beat the
head's
game.
gonna explode. You know.
Yeah, we beat the NFL. It's done.
Daniel Longstaff, love the name there. He's been eating all that blue chew, baby.
Longstaff is definitely in the right place.
He
Love
said,
it.
guys, I honestly think they trade for an additional pass rusher like Thibodeau or a corner like
Kayvon
J.C.
Thibodeau, huh?
Horn. I think Thibodeau's a little pricey for us, especially with O'Malley.
Horn, though, I mean, the name. We would be
J.C.
horned.
horned up, baby.
Like Horn, I think, is a name, too, that we should be looking at.
Am I
for.
crazy, or was Pops a J.C. Horn guy when he's coming out of college?
Yeah, I think J.C. Horn played at South Carolina?
Yeah.
Big J.C. Horn guy. But Brett Veach would go for Thibodeau over Horn, though, because there's more letters in the last name. He's never taken a guy that has 4 letters in his last name. He can't do it.
Right.
He just
Yeah.
can't do that.
Mike, this one's for Longstaff.
I shall call you Boner Thorith. The mighty Boner Thorith.
That's
your new nickname, Daniel.
I love that, dude.
I do too.
What if Beavis would have said, I shall call you Longstaff? That'd have been the greatest thing I've ever watched, actually.
Yeah, it'd make me happy. Amy says she wished we had drafted Brendan Rice instead of Kamal Haddon. Yeah, I mean, at this
Kamal
point...
Haddon was a wasted pick.
Yeah,
Steve, you loved him, but boy, did he turn out to be a waste, huh?
Yeah, well, I didn't know he was a jerk.
Well, it felt like it was a great match for the Chiefs. Like his playing
Yeah.
style, everything, but he just did not have an attitude that we liked. He got shipped out quick.
He was
He was an asshole. Let's just put it that way.
Was he?
He was, yeah. From everything I've ever heard, he was a jerk.
He a little cranky?
A little crank.
Little cranky. Well, we appreciate you guys being with us today. Thank you so much for that. Chiefs are 7-0. That's freaking awesome. Be horned up. Be happy about it. Do us a favor. Hit your like button on the way out. If you haven't done that yet, hit the like button. Get this out to more people. Let this thing run for a little while. Let people come watch this bad boy. And us being so excited about being 7-0, baby. Let's go. And shout out BetUS for power in the live stream. And we'll catch you guys later this week. We'll have some live streams coming up this week. We'll be putting out some videos, some shorts. Got to watch Mike's short recap of the game.
I don't even know what angle I'm going to take.
It's going to be a good one.
It's got to be something about
You
how
already
we
know.
whoop that ass.
You already know how it's going to go. But appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.